Hey guys! Welcome!
Hello.
Welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. We have made it on. We have done it. Even without Joe, we managed. Today we
Yo.
have with us Mianglios. Yay!
Hello. That's
Hello.
me.
That's right.
It's
um,
great to be here.
mm-hmm. Hey, it's really great to have you here. We, again, said this multiple times, but thank you so much for being here with us, filling with Joe, and I'm excited for our journey today. I think you bring a lot to. I think you bring a lot to wherever you go. You're really kind. You're really nice, and you have such a nice, positive view and response to things in life. So, um, from what I've seen, right, I don't get to know you on a daily basis, but I do get to see you in our chat, and I get to um, be a witness through some of even just speaking with your brother. Yaldo. So, yeah, anyways, I'm really happy that you're here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, the sun again. I don't know why I think I can rely on the sun to be constant in the clouds and try to use its light source, but whatever. My hair is crazy today, guys. I don't know what's going on with it, and I can't make it look good, so it's just gonna be what it is. And you're just gonna struggle with it with me because, well, actually, you can just not look at it if you want. I mean, you could even leave if you wanted to, but that'd be sad. So yeah, welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. This is the show where we talk about problems, well, and really just about anything of what's going on in life. This is the show that's about you, and really us just attempting to be a friend along the way, helping share things from our experiences and from the chat to help you go through life in a way that is more joyful and less problematic, or even if just as problematic. For sure, with greater wisdom, with greater virtues, with greater just feeling alive. And so, we are not professional psychologists or psychiatrists or anything along those lines, but we can offer you our best. And right now, we have 0 topics. So, if you would like to submit a topic, that would be really helpful. If you have anything on your mind, even if it's something that you're already solving, and just feel like, hey, it's something that's on my mind that I wanted to talk about, it'd be really great to have some topics. We have literally 0. You can go to don'tworrywednesday.com and submit a topic there, and it's very easy. It's a very easy system to utilize. So I'll go ahead and paste that link for you. Actually, Saole's already done it, so I don't have to. Thank you, Saole. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is cute, right? He just said that right before the show. Yeah, him and his girlfriend are doing matching. I think that's so cute. Manglios
Yeah.
has really, really great taste in visuals. So
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Um, what was I? Okay, Kendra, thank you so much. I saw that you are currently working on one, and I really appreciate that. Let me know when it's in, so I know when to refresh my topic thingy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Nyansa, yeah, it's Psyche K.
Oh.
My picture is Psyche K, and then my girlfriend is Terahashi.
Oh. What anime is that from?
The Disastrous Life of Psyche K, I think is what it's called.
Oh, okay.
It's like a slice of life one.
Ah.
And Psyche has like psychic powers and can do a bunch of stuff. But he just wants to live a normal life.
Oh, he just wants to live a normal life, but he's like psychic, so he gets into all sorts of problems with it.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, that's solid. I like that. But it's a slice of life. That's quite fun. Is it one of your favorites or one of your girlfriend's favorites? Or not really. Just something that you
Yeah, it's
felt.
my girlfriend's favorite one, I'm pretty sure. I
Oh,
also really like it.
cool, cool. Yeah. Hey, that's really great. My wife really likes One Piece, and we've been watching that a lot recently. and it turns out it's actually pretty good. It's pretty good. I didn't really want to watch it for a long time since it came out because um, it was like hyped. It was like people really, really, really liked it, and everyone was all about it and stuff. Even though it had been out for years at that point, kind of like Naruto, right? Naruto was very
Oh,
popular,
yeah.
and it was because of that I didn't want to watch it because I have a problem with like anything that's hyped. I watch it, and because of the hype, I'm very skeptical of what I'm watching because it's like, oh, people are hyping this up, so it must be like original and so on. And so then I'll watch it and I'll point out all the stuff that's just copies of everything else, and there's nothing original, and there's nothing amazing about it, and I don't know why people are hyping it up. Like that's a nasty habit, but that's what I experienced when I was younger. I try to do a lot less of that now. But yeah. Um, now we're watching One Piece, and it's actually been very good, especially for how dated it is. It's really great.
Awesome. Yeah, I've seen, like, an episode or 2, and I liked it, but, like,
Yeah.
I think probably why I never watched it is that I know I would not be able to devote enough time to
Mm-hmm.
finishing it.
Right? So yeah, I usually like to splurge and watch an anime all the way through from beginning to end. Um, so for an anime like that, I'm just like, whoa. Yeah, One Piece is like doing like I think One Piece is like doing a lifestyle hike. Like it's a lifestyle choice.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's rough. If you get through it, it can pay off. Yeah, I feel like it seems impossible to get through because it's so many episodes. But my wife puts it into like realistically, they're the episodes are not long. They're like 7 to 11 minutes each
Oh,
because
wow, yeah, that isn't that long.
yeah. And so if you can play like, several of them in like an hour. And the reason they're short is because even though they're supposed to be like 20 minutes long, they have the opening and the ending. They have also the last time on blah 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 blah, and they have the
Oh,
next
yeah.
time on blah 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 blah. And the next time we don't want because that's spoilers, and the last time we don't need because we just watched it. So,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, I'm gonna move this over a little bit. I see that when I
Also,
talk.
my mom says that she submitted a topic.
Yes, thank you. I noticed that there are a few popping in here, so thank you so much, Mom. Thank you, Kendra, and maybe even anonymous persons if that whomever has submitted topics. Thank you so much. Um, trying to fix one little thing here because I broke it. Okay, there we go. There we go. Now there won't be weird green dots on the side of the screen when I hopefully. Mialado asks, Mianglios, do your nickname
Oh,
do Mianglios, do you nickname your name as Miang or Mian?
I forgot for a second that I can answer, like, audibly and not just in chat. Either one is good with me.
Either one's good. If it's Mian,
I
it's
mean, I
yeah.
I usually say Maeng,
Oh, Miang,
but
Mianglios.
but yeah,
Oh wow,
but
I've been saying wrong this whole time. Sorry.
I mean, no, your pronunciation is good too. Like, I don't have a something I consider as the right pronunciation. That's just
Okay,
how I usually say it.
fair enough. Fair enough. When I was little, I had a name. I still rarely use it, and it was Tetsuken because I wanted to
Mhm.
create a name that sounded Japanese without it actually being Japanese because I didn't know any Japanese. And so I created this name Tetsuken, and like 3 years later, I look it up and I'm like, wait, that's actually Japanese. It means Iron Fist. That's cool. So that was fun. But what I wanted to say about it was I was very specific. I'm like, it's Tetsuken. But everyone kept on saying Tetsuken. And I was like, Tetsuken? That doesn't even sound good. That doesn't sound Japanese. Tetsuken. Well, it kind of does actually. It sounds like that game, Street Fighter. Ryoken.
Oh,
And yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, I was very particular about that. But after a while, I was like, say however you want. I understand, you know. But so when you first created the name, were you thinking Myanglios or Myanglios? Something else?
Uh, I mean, my Anglios is how like I thought to pronounce it, but
Okay,
that's just what I thought of. Like,
great.
other pronunciations are good. That's just what I thought. And coming up with the name, what I was doing was I was having it to where every other letter spells out the word magic,
Oh
and so
wow.
I just found a way to fill in and make it sound good.
Oh my gosh, that's cool. I see it now. That's cool. Magic Myanglios. You know, I remember when you were coming up with the name. Like it was literally a topic you submitted to us. And
Oh yeah,
yeah, and I thought that was great, and I remember that that was really great, and um, and you finally came up with it, and it was like it took. I feel like it took a month. Maybe it didn't, but you really put a lot of work into it. And then I remember when you first like your first message on here, and we were like, "How do we say it?" You know, and you ended up saying in the chat how to say it, and I think it was we offered both Myanglios and Myanglios, but we weren't sure. And at the time, something you said made me think it must be Myanglios instead. But
I mean, I like how that sounds.
yeah, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I think maybe that's what you said. You're like, I like the sound of that. So, yeah, well, I apologize even if you're not offended. Right.
You're good. You're good.
So, hey guys in the chat, thank you so much for being here with us. How are you all today? How are you doing? And have you done anything fun this week or different this week that you haven't done before? We do have some topics coming in, but I'll get to those in just a second. My Anglios, how have you been? How are you doing today and how have you been this
Good.
week?
I've been good.
Great.
I'm in university. I'm a freshman at
Mm-hmm.
university, and the school year's like wrapping up pretty soon. Next
Oh,
week is finals week, so
wow.
everything's like starting to wrap up.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna ask you before the show started about college, but I figured, hey, maybe we could talk about it on stream. That's awesome. What are you going for? Do you know? Do you have a solid idea yet?
Computer programming,
Nice. Computer program. What languages or just general?
uh, just general. I think the major's called applied computer programming.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. And then I'm
Yeah.
also doing a minor in entrepreneurship.
Nice. That's great. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I've been dipping my hand in C++ a lot lately. It's so much fun. I really
Oh, I
enjoy
see.
programming. What's that?
I just said, yeah, like that sounds cool.
Yeah, it is cool. You know, I took a class in college for C++, and at the time I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, but I also really hated it. Um, because I was being forced to I I wrote a program and okay, so there's an assignment. It was like writing a program that does this. It's very basic. I don't remember what it was. I think it was like writes a catalog or table of contents of people and organizes their field. And so I figured out how to
Hmm.
do it. I wrote it myself and I handed it in. And she looked at it and she was like, "Where did you learn? Where did you learn these functions?" And I said, I, I dabbled in different scripting languages a long time ago, so I kind of just thought, hey, maybe this function works here, and I figured it out. It does. And she said, "Yeah, never do this again. Follow the follow the protocols that are in the book." And I was like, "Dang, okay." So she gave me like a C on it, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm not I'm not gonna do this." So I never worked on any homework assignment again after that, and I just kind of fell fell through in my work, and I wouldn't recommend. I don't think that was the right call of me, but yeah, that was stinky.
Oh wow, that I don't think I've ever had a coding professor do that. Like they have like a what they encourage is like the way like
Ah,
the most optimized and like organized way of doing it, but they don't like count off if you do it like a little bit differently.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, optimization is important, but yeah, it was just really stinky of that. And I'm glad you haven't had anyone do that to you, and I hope no one ever does that to you. Um, I think part of programming is that makes it so fun is the creativity, because you do have to be very creative. It takes up a lot of mental space sometimes when you're like, okay, how do I make a program that does that? And then you have to be really creative with your ideas of how you can come up with different ways of doing it and what would be the most optimal, um, given the environment that it's using. How many calls per second is something going to have, and is there? Yeah, there's all sorts of fun stuff. But yeah, I'm excited for you. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
thank you.
Yeah. Uh, I
Coding, it can be hard at times though. In doing assignments, I've had to Google a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. You know, with AI, it's really helpful. And I'm not suggesting necessarily you rely on AI at all, but I find
I've
recently,
actually
yeah,
I've already like used AI some to like help me with coding stuff.
yeah, it's so helpful because like I'm learning C++, but and the AI is not always right, but
Yeah, it's like it gets close and then you have to kind of like tweak it a bit to get
mm-hmm.
it to be exactly what you're wanting.
Yeah, that's right. And it's really helpful because it knows the names of the functions I'm trying to remember, and
Oh yeah.
I want to do this, and it'll be like, this is how you do that. And I'm like, oh, wait, you can do that? I didn't know you could just call like that, or I didn't know you could do this, that, the other thing. It's like, oh, that's really cool. I'm learning because of examples being put right in front of my face that I can run with some editing, some work. I can run them and be like, okay, this works. Wow, that's an interesting way of doing it. And it just opens my mind up to the different procedures and different operations that I don't know about. Really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, man. So
And
anyways, um, thanks for chit chatting with me at the beginning of the show. We do have some topics that have comments, so thank you guys so
cool.
much. Thank you so much. Um, I will maybe what I'll do is process the after the show. That way we don't have to sit here without without a I guess without a script without doing anything. Unless Myangos, you want to just tell a story for the next several minutes.
Um, sure, I guess.
Man, I really don't need.
Um, I mean, something interesting that happened recently is this club that I'm in at my university. We have a video game development club,
Ooh.
but like by the end of this semester, it was kind of dying a little bit. And so the elections meeting just had the old president who's graduating, and then me and one other guy. And so instead of being like elections, it was more just me and the other guy volunteering to be president and vice president.
Ooh,
And
okay.
so I guess I'm gonna be president of that club for next year.
Hey, that's great. That's for next year. Wow. That's a commitment.
Yeah. I think it should be fun though. And another person joined like our leadership team also. And we met up the other day and I think like we'll do good at running the club.
That's great. I'm sure you guys will do good. Passion is most of it. As long as you
Yeah.
feel like I want to do this, then you'll probably turn out.
Yeah.
Okay. I have our first topic curated
Cool.
and ready to go. I'll go ahead and just paste it in your onto the chat I have with you here. Not too long, but I will I will put it on screen for us, for everyone in the audience who is listening, and Uh, lost where I'm at. Okay, here we go. This needs. There we go. Okay, there we go. There's the topic, guys. It's on the screen. You can read along if you wish. This one is from Anonymous, and it is titled Procrastination. We have 3 topics now. Thank you guys so much. And I don't know if we'll get through all of them today, but hopefully we'll get to at least 2. And we will attempt to do our best. So thank you guys for stepping up and submitting topics. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure Myunglios does as well.
Yes.
So our topic is procrastination, and it reads as follows. How do you suggest overcoming procrastination when you have a long assignment or project to do? How do you suggest overcoming procrastination when you have a long assignment or project to do? This is from Anonymous. Thank you, Anonymous, for this topic. And this is definitely one that I've experienced a lot in my life. I've done a lot of procrastination. I don't know if I'm done with procrastination yet. I think I'm always I think there's a difference probably between just putting stuff off and procrastination. There are differences, but I tend to be a procrastinator myself. So this is a really good topic and something that I could probably improve on myself a bit, but also do have enough experience with it to maybe help a little bit here and there. But with that said, I'm excited to see what Myunglios has to say. Myunglios. If you are ready, do you feel confident and ready enough to?
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome.
I'll
Great.
start with Anonymous. I definitely have felt this issue myself and am continuing to struggle with it and work on getting better. And I hope that you're able to eventually overcome it also. But I guess I'll share some of my experience and things that have helped me. Um, lately, like my coding assignments, they're like bigger assignments, and the professor says, start it early because it's bigger. But like I see stuff that's due sooner, and so I just always focus on the stuff that's due sooner, and then always just put it off to last minute.
Mm-hmm.
But I think something to help combat that would be to, I guess, like separate it into little sections and focus on like by the end of like if it's like the project's due like 3 weeks out, like have this section done by the end of the first week, this section done by the end of the second week, like kind of create yourself due dates for
Mm.
each little section so that you can like get each section done leading up to the big thing.
Yeah.
Another thing that could help that I think y'all have talked on here about before is like having somebody else hold you accountable. Like tell them to like make sure that you get like some of it done and like are working on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I that's all I have
Hey,
at first. I'll probably think of some more stuff later, but that's what I got for now.
that's a great start. And yeah, that's really great. And it's hard though to like how do I say, it can be very difficult to put yourself into a schedule and actually follow it. Um when you know it's like, well, I don't necessarily need to do that right away. And if I don't do it, it'd be fine, and then you end up falling out of the schedule. So what do you do to keep yourself like to those commitments? If you
Um,
if you understand like some of the mental breakdown or what you do or your habits to be, I don't know what's the word, self uh I can't think of it. Disciplined. There we go. Self-disciplined enough to do that.
um, well, something like along with this that I've been struggling with, which I think is largely why I keep procrastinating is that like I'll see that it's a big assignment and I'll have trouble breaking it into those small pieces. And so like instead of trying to tackle the assignment, I'll just kind of escape to go like play video games or something.
Right.
But lately I've been working on, instead of just running off to play video games basically, like working on stuff a little bit and then using video games as like a short mental break before like working on more stuff.
Yeah.
Which like for me the main thing I have to discipline myself with is making sure that like I stick to however long I set my break to be instead of just being like, oh, I don't feel like going back to doing the work. Like
Mm,
stick to like if it's a like online game that has like rounds, like 2 rounds, and then I'm going back to working on the assignment.
yeah. Yeah. 2 rounds, win or lose, especially if I lose.
Yeah,
Because when
yeah,
you lose,
losing
you
is when
really
it's
want to get
hard to
back.
stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm Yeah. I remember when I would play games with the friends, they'd be like, "All right, last game," and then we'd lose and be like, "All right, we can't leave on a lose, guys. So let's do one more," and then that would turn into something, until we won one, and I was just like, "That's interesting." How we if we don't wanna move on if we lost. It just kind of fuels us up and like, no, I gotta get back in there. I gotta show them, you know. But yeah, it's kind of fun. No, that's a really great
Yeah.
approach. I feel like, yeah, breaking it into smaller pieces really helps. Yeah, I think when you give yourself time to do it and you set that time apart, knowing that there's going to be time for something else in the future, I think it helps your brain just go like be at peace with the current circumstance. Does that make sense? I mean, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you might not like the current circumstance of like having to do work. And that's why you're procrastinating, right? Procrastination usually comes from, well, I'd rather be doing something else. So I'm going to do it. Or I'd rather, at least to the very minimum, I'd rather not do that. Um, and it's like you're not at peace with the circumstance. You're not at peace with the process. You're not at peace with the obligation or opportunity you have. And so um, I think if you schedule it to be like, okay, I only have to do it for 15, 30, or an hour or whatever, and then afterwards I'm going to do this, and that thing's probably going to be more enjoyable for me, or it'll be a different thing that I have to do. Um, Whatever it is, yeah, I think it kind of puts you at peace knowing like to be okay with the circumstance, be okay with the obligation for a moment because you know that it has an end. Something like that. I think it's a
Yeah,
psychological thing.
I agree with that.
So yeah,
Like
no,
it
that's
helps
really
to know that
yeah.
it helps to know like if you like set up just like you were saying like 30 minutes to work on it or whatever, like it helps to know that like you weren't just going to be stuck working on it for hours. It's like like when this 30 minutes is done, that's when I can go chill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and for Joe, I think that really gets him in the headspace of like it's a game and he's gotta try to do as much as possible in that short period of time, and he starts to um enjoy the process because he's like, this time I'll do even more than last time. I think that's kind of fun. I don't think everyone's like that, but I think for some people maybe they can turn it into that. Which anonymous, whoever's dealing with procrastination, yeah, that might really nice. You specified a long assignment, which I think is interesting and probably probably important to you. So for long assignments, yeah, again, I think breaking into pieces really helps a lot. Breaking into pieces that feel bite-sized for you, right? Feel like not overwhelming. For me, I've always done long projects. Well, not always, but I generally do long projects. I tend to be wired to want to do longer projects rather than shorter projects. And I think that's Well, part of that is because I recognize long-term investments create long-term rewards. But that's not something you always feel when you're doing something. That's just a reason to start, right? Which is different than a reason to actually do it, or the feeling of wanting to do it, right? So for procrastination, you might be like, I really wanted to do it, I just kind of don't. Um, and so maybe you already have a good reason or a reason enough that you're in a long project. But once you're in it, um, if if you try to look at the project and think, what do I need to do? Uh, that can be really destimulating, overwhelming, and can make you just like not want to do anything. Um, so I think again, bite-sized pieces is really important. And it's also important to not measure how much you got done. Just measure that you got something done. Because in a long project, if you go like, if you start asking, well, how much did I get done today? You'll probably always feel defeated because there's always that mountain in front of you, right? Generally speaking, because everything you do is like 0.01% or less. And so you might spend hours on 0.01%. And that can be demotivating if you look at it that way. And so instead of asking how much you got done, or rather, yeah, like instead of asking like how close you are to finishing or how much of the project is done now or things like that, because I don't really find those things helpful because they don't change what's to come, right? If I ask myself, okay, how much percent of the project do I have left? Are we halfway yet? If I'm halfway or not, it doesn't change anything. The work that's ahead of me is still the work ahead of me, and the work will get done when the work gets done. If I think those kinds of thoughts, it's not like they're bad for me because I don't usually take things or spin them in a negative way, but at the same time, they're not good for me either. They don't motivate me and they don't like show me what step is next, and they don't show me anything about like anything that's relevant or useful. So when I am doing long projects, I just basically continue. It's always just continue, and kind of like playing a game, that like you save, and then when you get back to playing the game again, you pick it up right from where you left off, and you just continue the adventure wherever it leads you, however long it is, like an RPG or something. So that's kind of the way I look at it. Is I just press continue, and I don't worry about. I have no concept or no care about how far along I am or how long the project's going to be, because part of doing it is that you have the opportunity to do it, which is great, right? The fact that you have the opportunity to even do the project is a blessing, is an opportunity. Could be an opportunity of good things, right? It could lead to great things, but it could also be a great thing. And the process can be a great thing. Just the fact that you're able to do it as a human being is amazing and should be celebrated to some degree. The fact that, you have math homework is like so stinking awesome if you really look at it the right context, because you're smart enough to do the math. You're smart enough to learn the math. It might not feel like it sometimes, but you're there, and you are in the process, and you have the opportunity. Because, I mean, let's face it, not everybody has that opportunity. And in fact, people today, like there are, most people in the past didn't have the opportunity to get to learn high level math, right? Adding and subtracting was probably about the limit for some time for some people, but you get the opportunity to express your brain and really use it. So when I look at log projects, I look at them as things I get to do, things I can do, and things I will do, right? Like, I'm going to do this today. And I'll get however far I get. I just know I'm going to work on it. I don't know what I'm going to get done. It might be nothing. I might spend the whole day working on it and end up with going, well, I figured out a lot of things that don't work. And sometimes my days will just end like that. In fact, many days end like that for me, especially right now, because my brain isn't working correctly. But a lot of days are like that for me, and I'm okay with it. Why? Because I can't decide that, oh yeah, today is going to be a day where I get stuff done. I can't just make that decision. The only decision I can make is today I'm going to apply myself here. If I can. If I get swept up into something because someone's like, hey, blah, blah, blah needs help. We're going to go over to their house and blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, okay, well, my whole day has changed now, but whatever. So I think losing some of that control, losing some of the, like, the trying to shape your mentality around the opportunity, but even more so just applying yourself, tends to be a lot easier on the mind and will sort of subvert some of the procrastination because you won't feel like, oh, I want to put that off till later because it's such a mountain. Instead, you will look at it as like, oh, this is what I do, and then you just keep doing it. This is just what I do. I'm good at this, or I'm learning how to become good at this, or whatever. And you don't count the losses. You don't really have to count the victories if you don't want to. But every step forward is a victory, and generally you don't have losses, right? When you're like working on a project and you get done with a day and you made no progress, even though you spent 8 hours on it, it's not a loss. The project just hasn't moved forward. So it's like, for the project's sake, it wasn't like you moved backwards. In fact, it's kind of like you can't move backwards unless you delete everything, right? And you're like, oh crap, I just threw it in the fire and now I have to start over. But then when you start over, the end product is going to be different than it was going to be before, generally speaking. And so it might be a blessing that you had to start over. It might be for the better. Yesterday, we made some food, and it turned out really delicious. And part of that was setbacks of like, well, we can't do this and we can't do that, and like we ran out of gas, so we had to use the oven and bake things instead. And then I didn't have the normal ingredients I would normally use to make a sauce, and I'm limited because we're currently on a diet that says like no dairy and no sugar and all sorts of different no's. And so it's like I was incredibly limited. And there were a couple times where I did stuff and then like, oh, wait, that direction is the wrong one because I can't do that. And then like you end up just kind of with something at the end of it. And you're like, well, this is what I've made. I hope it's good. It should be good. I put my heart into it, even if it's not up to the standard. And it was delicious. It was actually worth. It was so good. It was like I would do this again. This worked out really well. And so sometimes that's how it goes. Sometimes it feels like the whole journey there is nothing but setbacks, and things that are like, well, this is not how I planned it. This is not how we do this. This is not the right way. And then at the end, you end up with something that you wouldn't have had before, but it's special and it's great. And I think that's most long projects. Most long projects are like that. So if you get in the mindset where setbacks, problems, they're the natural state. They're the natural state because, like, in this world, we live in a chaotic world where everything degrades over time unless you build it up, right? Like, literally everything in the world is set up to fail, except for humans can create and make things better and create systems and design things that are like awesome and they work better. But as soon as you stop maintaining them, right, they degrade. It's sometimes, and that's the way the world we live in works. Why would your tasks be any different? What you're doing is you're building something. You're creating something. You're working on something. You're working on something, which means you're building it up. A garden does, like, yes, trees and stuff will grow automatically without us. But we also put out forest. And we also plant in the ground. A beautiful garden doesn't usually spring up out of nowhere. There's some intention on where each flower will go, on where each plant will go when we see something that's like a beautiful garden. And generally, we don't have certain plants growing in our backyard unless we plant them there, right? And we expect that some of the plants will die and some of them will yield. And that's the way it goes with projects. You have to be in the mindset of what you're doing is you're stepping into the chaos and you're building something that is capable of falling apart, but you're the only one there to build it. So you do so. And so naturally, of course, things are going to be falling apart while you're building it. Naturally, things are going to be falling apart while you're building it. And so if that feels like part of the reason you procrastinate, because it sets your mind at, you don't like that, it's displeasing to you, then I would suggest just embrace the fact that, no, that's part of the good of it. That's part of the nature of the fact that you're doing something that isn't natural in the world, like doesn't just already exist. The fact that you're doing something means you're constructing something in the chaos, which is incredible. It's like a miracle that you can do that. And then, so of course, it's in the chaos. It's in the process of being destroyed while you're building it. It's like, so just knowing that that's the natural state, and you're the one disrupting the natural state and making it better is hopefully fuel for the fire for giving you motivation to stop procrastinating, kind of getting on it and just being like, yeah, this is what I do. I disrupt chaos. I build systems and I make things happen amidst the chaos. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts about working and maybe some of how to get your mind in the right place for subverting procrastination. Leos, I talked for a really long time. Do you have things or thoughts that you'd like to add on to that, or anything from the
That's
chat?
all right. I felt like what you were saying was really good about like getting into like the deep mental state of it and like flipping that around instead of like just figuring out how to get yourself to work on it, like how to get yourself to think differently about it so that you will naturally like be able to work on it. Also, my mom texted and says that this is her topic.
Oh, okay.
So I think I have a little bit of an idea of kind of like some of the like work that she has to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Some thoughts that
Mm-hmm.
I think I have to add are like kind of going off of the mindset stuff that you were talking about. Like have the mindset that like even if it doesn't really feel like it, you're getting at least a little bit of something out of what you're doing.
Mm.
Like even if it's just like more experience in whatever field, or if it's school, you're getting like another step toward getting like your degree if it's college, or like passing your classes if it's like a high school or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like whatever it is, you're at least getting a little bit of something out of it.
Yeah, that's a great first step. I mean, it seems fundamental and perhaps like well, yeah, it seems fundamental to do that, but it's like a really important first step. Like it is a foundational thing to just think, oh, what am I getting out of this in the moment? And you're always at least getting experience, right?
Yeah.
And that's good. Yeah.
And then I also feel like it's important to celebrate the small victories since
Mm-hmm.
the end is like so far off, and like if it's like a large project, like I don't know if this is exactly what my mom's talking about, but like she's been working on this project for her work like for like a long time, and it's
Mm-hmm.
still going on for a while. Like they get parts of it done, but like if it's something where like the end is like so far away, it's like barely in sight, it's like important to celebrate the steps that like, the progress that is being made,
Mm-hmm.
and not get caught up in like how much is left and like
Yeah.
is not done.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. When I work on a long project, and I work on long, long projects, um, all of them I celebrate everything that I like. I celebrate the things that get done, and regardless of whatever is ahead. That's such a great tip. That's definitely the right mindset. It's like if I'm working on a song or if I'm working on a video game or working on whatever, like I create something and it might be only like, like point, like it might be like literally like a 0.3 second bit of like a song or like a 5 second bit of a song, but there's still so much more to do. Or, even if it's a video or like I create one little tiny piece of code for the game and it works. Finally. Finally it works after days. It's like those little things. Yeah, I celebrate them. I listen back to what I made. Even if it's only like 0.3 seconds, right? I listen back many times. I'm like, yeah, I like that. I like that. That's cool. Or if it's something like I don't even want to be doing, like if I'm gardening and I'm not into gardening, but if I'm forced to, right, and I dig a hole, I can be like, I just dug a hole. Look at that. That's a beautiful hole. You know, I can be, I can celebrate at least in my head, if not even out loud. But I think, and if you do it out loud, it's more impactful to yourself and to others around you, and that's the attitude of celebration for what you're achieving. But yeah, absolutely, Young Leos. I think not paying attention full the full experience and not being satisfied until it's done, everything done. Just be satisfied with every little victory because it is a step forward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the last thing I have is like if you're just trucking away on it by yourself, it can start to feel like dull
Mm.
and like it dull, I guess is the best word for it. So like find some people to like beyond just like keeping you accountable and making sure you're getting your stuff done, like maybe just work on your stuff in the same room as somebody else
Yeah.
or on a call, even if you aren't talking like too much. I've found like if I'm on a call with my girlfriend and I'm like saying I'm gonna get my homework done, like, it's like being on call, it helps me feel like, they're right there. Like I said I was gonna get it done and like they're right there rooting
Mm-hmm.
for me and so I can get it done.
Yeah.
Or like if no one is available at the time, music I found can be very helpful of like taking away the dullness of the assignment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great insight. I think it does a lot when we have people around us to hold us accountable. But even not them holding us accountable, what we usually find is we hold ourselves accountable when there are other people present. you know, that's
Oh
how I feel too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a really really good advice. Just whatever you're working on, even if it's like, well, it's not like a social thing, or it's not something they're working on, or it's not like I'm not in the same room as anybody. Yeah, you're right. You could be on call with somebody else who's working on whatever they're working on, and that can be as long as um I guess as long as you don't get carried away too much um procrastinating because you're talking with them.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So call someone boring. No, I'm kidding. Uh, yeah, just call someone who
Or
has
like
good work ethic. Be around them.
maybe you're both working on stuff and you're like, let's just kind of feel like we're in each other's presence so that like we feel like there's someone we're working on stuff with.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people play music in the background. That's right, August. Sometimes that helps. Yeah. Sometimes it distracts. It can be that as well. So, um, yeah, pick your music wisely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope
Um,
that this is helpful. Yeah, did you have anything else you wanted to add more?
that's all for me.
That's all for you. That's all for me. I think I can't really think of too much more, and I hope that something that we've said has been useful. I know that procrastination is difficult, and in the end, you just have to decide, well, I'm going to do it now. And you know what? It always feels better once you do it because Like, it really does. And you know it does because you've been there, and we've all been there. When you're procrastinating and you're like, nah, instead of procrastinating, I'm just going to do it. And you do it, you find it doesn't take as long to do the thing, like the little bite-sized thing you wanted to do, you wanted to get done today. And it doesn't feel terrible. Your mind just says it's going to feel terrible if you start working on it. But it doesn't have to feel. And it doesn't always feel terrible. And sometimes it doesn't feel terrible at all. And sometimes it does, but most of the time it doesn't. It's just a thing that you have to do. And getting yourself to just take that first step, pushing the boulder, is really all it takes to just finish, in the day. It's like you've got one little thing to do, but you're procrastinating, you're putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. The boulder's like getting bigger and bigger as the day goes on and each day goes on. But as soon as you just get that boulder moving, it's like, oh yeah, that wasn't so bad. That was kind of small. That was nothing. And that's how it is almost every day. So sometimes if you just spend long enough waking up and saying, the first thing I'm going to do before I get carried away in something else, before I watch my first YouTube video, before I watch or listen to my first song, before I get carried away and talk to anybody or whatever it is, before I even start making my first cup of coffee, I'm going to start working on this as the first thing I do in my day. Now, that might not be available to you, but you get the idea. You can practice that or whatever it is, but and you just do it, and don't put anything in front of it. Don't put any kind of entertainment or joy, like pleasure producing activities in front of it, and you just start doing that. Next thing you know, like 2 hours go by, and you're like, oh, I should have breakfast, but you've done it. You've made progress, and if you keep doing that, eventually procrastination will be a problem, whether the project's small or large. I think just getting in the habit of doing really does help. It does help. Yeah. I guess that's my final thought on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not easy. It's not easy. It really isn't. Especially when it's up to you, like most projects are. It's entirely up to you for this part of the project. So it's like when it's entirely up to you and you're relying on yourself, it can be a lot harder than if others are in the process with or relying on you to some degree. But it's hard.
Yeah. And don't forgive yourself for the past procrastinating that you've done, or if you feel like you haven't been making enough progress lately, don't let beating yourself up over not getting stuff done stop you from getting stuff done.
That's true,
Just
man.
be like, this is a new moment, and I'm gonna just go at it. Who cares if I didn't do well before? I'm starting now, and I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's a great point. Absolutely. 100% agree. I think that's a very big pitfall for a lot of us. I think probably all of us, it's important to just go, yeah, why would I let my previous not working on the project and not getting stuff done and me beating myself up from it? Why would I let that get in the way of just getting something done so I don't have to feel this way? Yeah, it's funny that we do that, but we really do that. I like the way you worded it too. Great. Great topic. Thanks, Mom, for this topic.
Yeah, thanks, Mom, for the topic. She says very good insights and great discussion.
Oh, good. Good. I'm happy for that. And yeah, I sincerely do hope that this called, sorry, my brain is not great. This
Was
stumbling block is quickly addressed in your life. Go on.
Oh, I didn't have anything to say then.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was talking over you.
Oh, no. I was
Okay.
just, when you were trying to figure out what you were gonna say, I was like, is it this?
Oh, got it. Yeah, I probably was a lot of thoughts, and then I couldn't figure out which one I wanted, to be honest. But yeah, that's really great, and yeah, I really do hope that things in procrastination get better and smoother for you, and it becomes a joy rather than a dread right? Something you're dreading to do, so you put it off. Rather, it becomes, yeah, I'd be happy to do that. Let me just do it. And if you can get your
Yeah.
mind there, then there won't be any more problems. Great.
I think this topic will help me also
Mm. Yeah,
with procrastination.
yeah, I think it helps a lot of us. I've been putting something off. It's called shaving. As you can see, I've got a mustache right now and a beard, and that beard is meant to be off this week because I'm going to Japan in very soon, and I want to look like the person on my passport. So, the person on my passport had like a 1 or 2 week beard, and right now I've got like a, I don't know, several month beard. So and it's way out of control and doesn't, I don't think it looks attractive at all. So I'm actually looking forward to shaving it. I've been putting it off because of just random things, like not wanting to be in the bathroom because of the mold there. Yeah, stuff like that. But I'll get it done today, and I won't procrastinate anymore.
Yeah, I get that. But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Shall we move on to the next topic?
Yes, I think that'd be a great thing to do. I'm gonna quickly, um, very quickly, um, just set up some of the processing stuff. And once we're done, I will start the topic with you. We're almost.
Cool.
There we go.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm guessing your trip to Japan is why you're gonna be gone for the next like 3 weeks.
That is the case. Yeah. Yeah. I will be
Cool,
gone for the
cool.
next 3 weeks, guys. I apologize, but that's just how it goes when you travel. A lot, and with family and stuff. So, yeah, it will be uh a Ryan staticless Don't Worry Wednesday for the next 3 weeks. Then I'll be back. I put the topic. I'm gonna put the topic on the screen, but I also gave you the topic.
Got it. I see it.
Great. Um, so this as well is from Anonymous, but they call themselves Anon, short, I suppose. And it's titled "How to Fight Off Addiction." Um, I wish Joe was in my place at this time because Joe has a lot to say on this, but that's quite all right. I'm excited to see what my young Leos has to say on it. Um, but anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and give it a read. It reads as follows: How to fight off addiction. Not a substance addiction, more just something that I don't want to do anymore. But it goes deeper than a simple bad habit. I see. I see. You know, absolutely. I think everyone on earth has kind of faced this, and it's something that we all have to continue to face on a daily basis as far as, well, maybe not a daily basis, but very often, close to a daily basis. If you don't have something in your life that's you feel is an addiction that is a bad habit that you kind of want to snuff out, but difficult. I think if you don't have one of those, then probably you need to do some self-examination to find one of those. not that you should be beating yourself up, but more so that probably some growth that you could have that you might not be noticing. But anyhow, this is very relatable. I think it's probably relatable to all of us. So maybe we'll take some stabs at it, and hopefully, something will be gained from it on your side. Because yeah, it is a very difficult thing to fight off addiction, obviously by the nature of addiction. But especially when it's, I mean, well, all addictions are habits, but I mean, especially when it's something like a deep sort of habit. But yeah, that said, I'm interested in seeing what you do have to say about this, Melissa, and how you want to start it.
I think I have a little bit to start with.
Right.
Also, make sure to change over the current topic banner
Oh, thank you,
thing.
thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. To start with, anonymous or anon. Uh, I hope that like you're doing well and that this isn't something too bothersome. But regardless, like even if it is, I have faith that you'll be able to get through it. Um, I haven't really, I don't think, had any like super like troublesome addictions, but I've kind of noticed like a little while, well, like a few weeks ago or something, I noticed that like I thought about it and I'm like, I think I'm addicted to Marvel Rivals at the moment.
Aha,
Because
yeah,
I found
fair.
myself like I'd have homework or something to do and be like, I don't feel like doing this. Let me just go play Marvel Rivals. And it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like I wasn't just playing any video game. I always went to that one. And then I thought about it and I was like, yeah, I think I might be a little bit addicted.
Mm,
And so,
real.
like, I've been like working to like, you know, not necessarily stop playing the game completely, but like get to a point where I'm not like addicted and like always going back to it constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I think first step
I'd
is kind
say
of noticing
two.
it, right?
Yeah, the first step is just to notice what you're addicted to, because sometimes it might not seem obvious, especially with something like, as innocent seeming as like just playing a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'd say two of the main things I did after I noticed it was first, I tried to just like at some days, like cut myself off completely, like for a day. Be
Yeah.
like, today I'm not playing it at all. Like tomorrow I can maybe play some, but today I'm not playing it at all. And like with some things that may not be like too easy to do, but if you can do that, like it'll show yourself that like you don't need to have that to like go about your day.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other main thing I can think of that I did was like set limits. Like, if I am gonna play, I'm just gonna play like 3 rounds, no matter if I lose every round. And then after that, I'm getting off, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you can like hold yourself to like set a limit and then hold yourself to that limit, um, that can help fight the addictive habit. It requires a lot of like discipline, but if you can do that, then that helps. At least for me, it's helped.
Yeah, no, that's good. Good.
That's all.
Okay. No, that's great.
That's all I have right now.
Fair.
If you wanna take over for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with what you're saying. I think it's really great to be able to, um, it can be really difficult to just say, well, I won't do it anymore. I mean, it's easy to say that, but it doesn't work usually, right? It's like, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. But instead you create, like Kendra was sort of saying, create something to do in its place. But even if it's not something to do in its place, even if it's just something like setting a limit, you're creating something. You're creating a limit, right? And when you have something like a limiter or an activity that you do instead, or whatever it is, really helps to override the addiction or the habit, as opposed to just sitting there and being like, well, instead, I'm just not gonna do it anymore. Because that can be, not that it's jarring, it's just that your brain doesn't want to do that. It doesn't work that way. Um, so I think what you're saying is spot on. Um, when you can set limits to something and you can say, well, um, uh, maybe it's something that's evil or bad and you kind of just want to stop immediately and never do it again, but whether it is or it isn't, if you can set yourself a limit, like that's a big deal, and it helps to start on the journey of self. Hold on, I'll find the word. Discipline. I got it. Self-discipline and self-control to really just kind of buckle down and say, no, this is the way I'm going to do it, and I will do it this way, and I won't do it this way, and or I won't do that anymore, and so on. I find if you can take those opportunities whenever you think of them to force yourself into something, whether you want to do it or not, can be incredibly helpful. I used to tell an example a lot of how to gain some self-control, and that is to literally just start eating your lunch, eat half of it, and then stop when you're hungry and you want to finish it and the taste is in your mouth and you want more. And you're like, nope, I'm not going to eat that for 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, I'll eat the rest of it. Or, depending on what it is, if it's like a sandwich and, whatever, like, and it holds, you can put it off however long you want, but put it back in the refrigerator or whatever it is. But you just say, no, I'm not going to finish that until this amount of time, and then I'll pick it back up again. And what I think was a great way to do that is put it right next to you where you can see it while you're working, and it's tempting you, and it's going, hey, I'm here. Remember me? You get to have me later. I think it's great. And it's like, well, I'm not struggling with a food habit. Well, great. If you're not, this is a great opportunity because you don't have problems with food habits. So this is a good option for you to learn self-control on something that's easy for you. Then step it up as the game goes on and be able to apply that same control over other areas of your life. That ability to control yourself is something that is, if it's in one part of your life, it will eke over to the rest. And the opposite is absolutely true. If you go and do something like that exhibits a lack of self-control, no matter what it is, you will start to notice after a week or so, maybe even after just a couple of hours, you start to do lack of self-control on a lot of areas. You were talking about video games, and yeah, addiction to video games. If I become too addicted to video games and I start slacking off, start doing putting too much time into them and so on, I will absolutely, and it's not because of the game, but I'll absolutely be less self-controlled in other areas of my life as well. I'll notice that I let my mind wander more in when I normally just have a little bit more control there. I'll be more procrastinative, right? I'll have less self-control there. I'll be more, like lackadaisical and indulgent rather than useful and, etc. So it's a really great insight, what you said. And I think that really, if you can get some self-control in any area of your life, if you find any area of your life where you're like, this is where I'm solid, then test that and make it easy for yourself to be self-controlled, like there. And then when you display that self-control, it will help your brain believe in itself more because it has evidence to show that you can have self-control. It'll help you then exhibit that self-control in the other parts of your life because you already have the ball rolling. And so that is such a great tool to use here, I think. I've had a lot of personal help and success by doing that. And that's something I had to remind myself of even now, right? Right now I'm like, yeah, I should be more self-controlled. I should be doing things a little bit better. I mean, even things like slip of the tongue stuff. Like, not just like, it's not necessarily just like, normally I bite my tongue on these things and I don't say them out loud, It could be even just like, wow, where did that come from? I don't usually say something like that. How did I get in the habit of saying something like that? It came out of nowhere. That was awful. right? Um, and so holding yourself up, holding yourself accountable, and practicing being, I guess, how you imagine would be the best for you, right? Practice being the best for yourself, practice being the best for others. You can, if you do that, it really lifts up the rest of your life in every category. And if you start getting, um, you know, if you start getting wishy-washy on a subject, or if you start getting, you start procrastinating in something, or if you start, um, it's sort of just tied into the last topic, but if you start finding yourself being addicted to things and choosing them instead of doing what you know is right, yeah, you'll find that carries over into other parts of your life, right? So, of course, the opposite is true. So, again, find something that you can challenge yourself to and know you'll win. And then challenge yourself to some other stuff outside of that. Make it harder and harder. Get more and more outside your comfort zone. Um, maybe food is a really difficult one for you, and so maybe that's further down the line. Maybe the first one for you might be like, well, I'll just put off like watching videos for a week. I will not open YouTube for a week. If I do, it's because I had to watch a tutorial because my teacher told me to or something, right? But other than that, I will not indulge in the YouTube stuff. If that's easy for you, start there. Start with that victory. If it's something like I love to, like, find something you love to do, something that you enjoy, something that you're good at, something that you are happy to do, and it's a good thing. It doesn't have to be a bad thing that you're putting off. This doesn't have to be a thing like I'm doing this evil thing here and I know I need to stop, so I should just stop and then practice that. Do something that's actually like good and healthy for you. You can give that up for like a week. And like, because food is good for you, right? Like, that's a great example. Food is good for you, good for your body. You need it. I'm not saying go without food for an entire week, but make some kind of conscious effort to enact self-control in that. And then that will give you some strength for this breaking of this other habit that you're working on now. With that concept given, Mayan, Glios, do you have anything you wanted to add?
Yes, I really liked, well, like everything you said, but especially early on, what you and Kendra in the chat were saying about replacing
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is that you're doing with doing something else in its place. I think is really good because, like, a lot of times just stopping it completely doesn't is like hard. It's hard to do that. But
Mm-hmm.
like if in my example, if instead of playing Marvel Rivals, I choose to play a different game in its place, that's like breaking the habit. And then like to go farther to breaking the habit of the addiction to playing video games, like I'd eventually like phase out of the other game to like not playing video games,
Mm-hmm.
like as an addiction, like not, not stopping playing at all, but like not being addicted to video games.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
then the other thought I had, I'm struggling to remember it.
Corn tortilla.
Um, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I knew that would ring a
Since
bell.
like whatever you're addicted to, like that's probably what your brain is wanting to do. Like your brain is probably like, I really
Mm-hmm.
want this. Like this is what I'm really wanting. And so like to get yourself to like start, not just doing that all the time. If it's something like that, you could use it as like a reward for, or like be like, I'll do the thing after I do this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not like you're being like telling your brain you're not going to do it at all, which will make your brain probably like not willing, not as willing for it. But you're like, we'll do it after we do some other stuff. And then eventually you'd probably like, you could do like longer spans of other stuff, before like doing the thing as a reward, and then eventually, uh, and eventually you'd probably become less addicted to the thing and feel less of a reliant on having to have it.
Hmm.
I hope that was clear enough. I was kind of like, thinking of how to say it as I was saying it.
Yeah. No, that makes sense to me. Um, I guess on the note of it potentially being something that it's like, no, what I'm doing is bad. I really don't want to be doing it. And like, there are certain things in life that like we can become addicted to that are really unhealthy or not good for others, or even ourselves, especially. And you said it's not a substance abuse, so I will use a substance as an example. So, like, if you're addicted to smoking or an alcoholic or something like that, right? Which you're not, but those types of things are like, yeah, but those are things I want to stop. Basically, like, I don't want to wean off of it. I want to just end it. I don't want to like, well, this is an occasional thing I do because it's just my form of entertainment, that I do like, once a week. It's like, no, I want to do zero. So how do you get there? And if it's something that's like evil or something that's like really bad, um, even worse, there are definitely things worse than smoking, right? And so let's say it's not something that is like a video game where it's kind of harmless. You just happen to have an addictive sort of state of mind on it, but it's something. It's like, no, this is always bad, and it was always bad, and I don't, etc. How do you fix that? And I think I've got some thoughts that might be helpful. That because I'm sure you've heard a lot of things, and you've thought about this a lot, but something you probably haven't considered is this: be thankful for the times you don't do whatever it is, and focus on that rather than focusing on the thing that you did. Um, I remember I was seeing a priest about a particular sin, and that was a habit, and they were like, um, I they basically said something along the lines of, "Have you instead considered just being thankful for the times that like either you were tempted or you just all the times that you're not tempted throughout your day? Like there's more time spent not doing that thing than you have time spent doing that thing, right? Like, yeah, of course. So you have a lot more time in your life to be thankful for. Why don't you focus on that? Why don't you put your mind there rather than putting your mind in the place of like um you're failing to do or what you're failing at in life, and just being thankful for what you're not failing at, right? And it seems counterintuitive, but what it does is it takes your mind off of it, and you find yourself thinking of it less. And by thinking of it less, you will do it less. It's not a foolproof strategy, but it is one that does help, depending on where you are. If it's something that you think about a lot and you are ashamed of, or whatever it is, then it can be something that is in your brain in the first place because of the shame, and it lingers as guilt, and then it gives you the idea to do it at all later, So getting that out of focus, getting the idea of the whole thing that you're addicted to, getting that completely out of focus so it never even enters your mind is kind of where you want to be. You also want that self-control to deny it if it does come, but just getting it completely out of your field of view is really helpful. Getting it out of your brain so as to not think of it in any sort of way that could be pleasurable or whatever, like any addiction usually is. It's usually a sort of pleasure. Getting it out of the focus of your mind is useful. So when you have that feeling or you have those thoughts that urge you, you can, instead of going like, well, I don't want to do that. No, that's not good. Blah, blah, blah. fight it with a sense of thankfulness in your heart. That's like, it's kind of hard to describe, but being thankful to God, or being thankful that that the temptation isn't constant, and being thankful that for the times you've already overcome it, and that it seems that the addiction it hits you, or the temptations hit you less this week than the week before, and maybe that you're making some strides there. Be thankful for the that kind of stuff. If you come at it with that attitude, it actually tends to help you overcome the problem. If you come at the attitude with, like, oh, I don't want to do that, that's a bad idea, this is, like, if you have those thoughts, you're telling yourself that you're having a defeatist sort of mentality. You're pointing out all the times you failed before, which means that you are pointing out your weakness, which means you think that you're not strong, which means that, oh, you're not strong, so you might as well do it anyways. You are showcasing to yourself, who are you, like, oh, this is where I fail. Like, this is my addiction. It's attacking me again, right? And so your brain goes, oh, look what a terrible piece of person you are. You're always like doing this thing you're addicted to. Like, you should be better than this, but you're not, and you're crummy. Well, who are the person you're showing in your brain? Like, the person that you're like drawing out in your brain, the character that you're drawing out in your brain is like one that will fail, one that you can count on to fail again, one that you look at and go, well, yeah, they're a mess. So, I don't have much faith in them succeeding on this, right? You're selling yourself into defeat when you think, and you try to defeat all of your addictions by the use of guilt, or saying like, man, I fail here a lot, or this is a bad thing that I do and I really want to stop. Those kinds of thoughts. Yeah, it's kind of like you're drawing up a person that is going to lose, because you're showcasing the evidence that you're going to lose, because you always lose. So then you don't have the strength to just go and move on with it. Instead, it keeps on eating at your brain, like any addiction does. So, because it's just like constantly on your mind, and you can't get it out. Because you're showcasing, again, your view of yourself is one that's already defeated, because of all the times you've been defeated before. And you're just showing, oh, this is my example. This is just the truth, So that, right? So I hope I'm painting the picture well enough. I'm having a little bit of difficulty with my words today, but I hope that makes sense. What you're doing is you're defeating yourself before, like, instead of building yourself up and helping yourself overcome this problem, you're just showing yourself all the times you fail and that you suck. And so you're not going to be able to count on that person to beat back this temptation, this habit, this addiction. So that's why I said, be thankful instead. Come with a thankful spirit. Come with a paint for yourself a picture of you that is healthy. That is one that does have self-control. That is one that, in reality, you're not subject to this habit 24/7. You're not, in reality, you don't have to be a slave to this habit. Even if you have been in the past, you don't have to be in the future. It's important to paint the picture of the person you want to be in your head, and paint the picture of you overcoming this, so that your brain has a path to follow, rather than just, well, a path to defeat, because that's the picture you painted for it. So that would be at least one of the main approaches I would suggest for this. Again, I don't know what necessarily you're dealing with, but sort of no matter what it is, any sort of addiction, all addictions are generally the same, right? They're different, but they follow a same stream, and not all of them can be defeated by thoughts. But if you have control over your thoughts, I would say participate in your own conversation with this particular, or about this particular um, addiction. And the participation from you should be one that paints a picture of you as the victorious one, as the one that's winning. Or if not you, then God. And say, well, God's really helped me out here, so I'll just put it in his hands. Something, right? But anything that can showcase the path to victory rather than just remembering the path to how you lost before. It can really do a lot. And again, that's just really coming at it with a thankful spirit. So that's another little tool for your tool belt on this. But yeah. My young Leos, did you have anything you wanted to add to that? Or anything you want to say about it?
I think just one thing. Also, I really like what you were saying about like focusing on when you're not doing it and like having that be the focus instead of focusing on doing it and how you don't want to do it. Like focus on
Yeah.
where you want to be. I felt like that was really good. And then also, I'm really glad that you brought up that while the anonymous person here says that it's not a substance addiction, like the fact that it could still be something harmful, like, and not just like a addiction to video games that's not necessarily like harmful, but like you don't want to have it. Like,
Mm.
I'm glad that you brought up that it could be something harmful.
Mm.
The main thing I want to add is it could be helpful, especially if it's something that's like harmful in some way to somebody else, to like share with that person how, like, you recognize you have this issue, or if it's something that's just harmful to you, it could still be good to like, share with another person that like you recognize that you have this addiction and that you want to stop it, and like see if they can like, kind of like I was saying with the last topic, like have them help you like stay accountable, and like not just be like, hey, you need to reach your goal of like doing this, but like have them be there to root for you and celebrate
Mm-hmm.
your victories of whenever you've made progress, and like someone cheering you on can like go a long way. And then
Absolutely.
also just the thought that like, you know, breaking this addiction, like you're not just doing it for yourself, but you're doing it for that other person too, especially if it's something that's harming them, then that could be like a powerful boost, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that makes total sense. I was thinking the same thing at one point. I was like, yeah, it really helps to have people um, a part of your journey. Even if it's, whether it's to hold you accountable or to help you hold yourself accountable or not. Maybe it's nothing to do with that. Just to have them there to cheer you on and reset your brain up for success rather than, yeah, rather than failure or, yeah. I think it really does help a lot. That's a great point. Hmm. Amazing. I mean, there's a lot more that could be said about it, but I think it's like, you don't, at this point, you have an addiction. I don't think it's necessary to cover over like what's going on necessarily in your mind or in your physical body with withdrawals and all of that kind of stuff. Um, I don't think it's necessarily helpful at this point, and um, I think that um, I don't have much more to say on the topic. I've given it my best. This is a hard thing to deal with, is addictions. It can be very difficult, and it can be something you put off, and you have a victory there, and you never do again for a year, and then all of a sudden you're back into it, and you're like, "What? Why am I here again?" It happens. So, whatever you're struggling with, whatever this addiction is, know that you're absolutely not alone. Everybody deals with it. Also, know that the difficulty isn't just for you, it's for everybody. And that while you're on your journey to getting better and recovering from your addiction and and overcoming it, I think that's that even like that is awesome, and that's something to celebrate. The very fact that you want to overcome a bad habit is worth rejoicing in itself. Um, and you're worth applauding. You're worth applauding for even attempting. You know, there are many people who give up and they just embrace bad habits. They embrace it and just say, well, it's just I tried to stop and I can't. I've tried to stop many times and I just don't know how. So I've given up. I'm just going to do this for the rest of my life. Um, and it's a bit of a shame, and it's sad when we see that happen. But it's understandable because it can feel very defeating. So that's why I hope that you don't come at this with a defeated attitude by showcasing all your defeats. You really have to come at it with a victorious attitude of what you can do, and then do it. Just like my uncle was saying with his with video games and stuff like that, as a great example, he can put a limit on it, right? And so he does, and he acts out that limit, and it's a victory. And even if that victory is, well, I'll just play a different game because that's the game I'm addicted to. I'll play a different game, and just to combat that feeling, that because I don't want that in my life, that addiction, I'll combat it with doing something else. And Kendra was saying that as well. Combat your addiction with something else. It helps. It's the victory mentality. And so I think a lot of times when we give up, it's because we've bought into our failure, and we think that we are a failure. And I just want to let you know, you're not. It's hard for everybody. It's like literally the nature of an addiction. So keep trying at it. It'll take however long it takes, and it will take whatever pieces of nuggets of knowledge that you don't have yet to finish it. And if we didn't give it to you here today, sorry, we can only do our best, but keep searching. And I think, and eventually you will find the answer. And a lot of peace and joy will come out of it. So, I guess one last thing is, a lot of times the things we're addicted to, are the things that we're focused on with our brains, can be, while maybe right now they're a bad habit, can be something that is such a blessing because of the things that we focus on in life. I think a great example is people who, people who might be envious or gossipers, right? They might be addicted to gossiping. They can also become the people that are so good at noticing all the good and joy in others, and just speaking about it and really uplifting everybody in their community, and just being like, oh my gosh, have you heard blah, blah, blah? This so awesome stuff is going on, blah, 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 blah. And they just talk everybody up rather than gossiping and talking everyone down behind their back. They're doing that. They're edifying, where they talk good about everybody behind their back. And it's such an amazing thing to see when a person transforms into that. So what you're struggling with right now might be one of your strengths to be uncovered. Might be one of the things that makes you just like other people will look up to you for, because your brain is focused on and incapable of something that others just go, wow, that's such a beautiful. So keep that in mind as you go through this journey. Keep that in mind, because it could be that, well, whatever this addiction is going to become like an incredible blessing. Once you kind of uncover it and work it out and get a good sense of like a good habit in place. So yeah, just to give you a little bit more motivation, a little bit more encouragement. Right? I think this is a really great topic, and something that we all deal with. So keep charging on, and thank you so much, Anan, for sending this in. Really appreciate that.
Thank you for the topic. Even if it is slow, the progress, I have faith that you'll make the progress and be able to get past this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. As long as you don't give up, you will do it. Just keep searching for the right answers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you again. Thank you to everybody who submitted a topic today. That's really helpful. We were at 0 at the beginning, and now we've got enough to fill a whole episode. So thank you guys so much. That was very kind of you. and I really appreciate it. We do have another topic we can do. Would you like to do it? We've got 20 minutes. Not
Sounds
that
good to me.
20 minutes will be enough necessarily.
I'm
Would you like to go over or not?
I'm good to go over.
Yeah?
I have nothing after this.
Awesome. All right, I'm just going to curate it a little bit here. And I'm not even going to curate it really. I'm just going to make it something that's a little bit easier for me to read because of dyslexia. It helps when I don't have 15 straight lines of text in a row. Instead, break them up a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to stop the current topic here and share a new one. I'll have to figure out what to put as a topic for this in a little bit. But with that said, oh, my unglios, I can't. Hold on. I have to split this next topic into 2 parts. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. This one is from Kendra. Kendra, you're still with us, yeah? I'll just make sure that she is before I get ahead of myself. We'll make sure I on it. I am here. Yay! Thank you, Kendra. Great. There you go. That's the folder. Is that all right if we do your topic? I just don't want to hold you too late because it is getting towards the end, but we're gonna give it our best. I don't know what to put as a topic title yet because I haven't read through it yet. Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. Okay. So I will go ahead and put the topic on the screen for everybody to read along if they so choose. And I don't have a name for this topic yet because I haven't read through it, but I will tell you that this is from Kendra, and Kendra's beautiful and amazing. So this is her topic. It reads as follows. Hello, everyone. Hope you are doing well. Hope you are all doing well. This isn't about me. It's about a friend of mine. Recently, I've been talking to a friend of mine who is dear to me. Let's call him Jay. Jay currently is struggling with lots of things, and he has talked about this a lot with me, but it's getting to the point that he is having severe anxiety attacks. He has health issues, and the job he works at is not good for his mental health. His grandfather just died, which is not helping anything. He wants to quit his job. Sorry, he wants to quit this job, but it is hard for him to find a job with the health issues he has. His car is a rust bucket and falling apart and could just stop working at any moment. His mom has been charging him rent, which takes most of his money, even though he does everything around the house for her and she has a good paying job. He has talked to his mom many times about this and that she needs to lower the rent so that he can save up to be able to get out on his own or get his own place. His mom just won't listen, and it ends up in a screaming match. They just keep going in circles. He wants to be able to start doing DoorDash or Uber, but like I said before, his car is on its last leg. Last night, he asked me for ideas on how he could make some sort of money besides the money he gets from his job. One of the first things I told him is that he can pray to God and just rely on him, and he said he's been doing that. So then I told him I could draw pictures digitally and he could sell them. However, he refused as he doesn't want to take credit for my work, which is fair. But then I told him I would charge him 25 cents for each drawing if he really wants to get paid for what I do. I plan on drawing some coloring book type drawings that he can put in a PNG thing and put on Canva or Amazon to sell them. I know I am already doing a lot with working and other things in my life, but Jay is a very dear friend to me, and he is the most kind person ever. He deserves so much more than with what he is going through now. I know this was a lot, but I need to just talk about this a little bit. Thanks. God bless you all, Kendra. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Kendra. Thank you for this. Um, really appreciate the topic. And yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on this. I think what he's going through is definitely very difficult. And I think what he's going through um definitely needs a different approach than his current one, both in what he's doing and what he's thinking. I guess his attitude. But I don't know him that well. You certainly know him better than I do. I can only gather what I can off of what you've given me, and that's I don't expect you to write me every detail about him, of course. that'd be a long read, and it wouldn't fit in our topic. But anyways, there's so much to humans that we don't see, and I think you know them better than I do. Well, I know that you know them better than I do, but this is it can be really difficult to watch someone struggle. Actually, it can be more difficult to watch someone struggle than to struggle yourself at times, because you can't control the people and you can control yourself. So for yourself, you at least know, like, maybe you can fish for a way out, but other people, you see them struggle and nothing you say or do helps anything because one way or another, it just doesn't. So, yeah, and Tara says a scenery change sounds helpful. Yeah, absolutely. I understand the bind he's in, though, because it's like, well, I can't have a scenery change because I don't have my vehicle and I don't have enough money for my own house or rent or whatever. And then it's like, well, I'm just stuck where I'm stuck. And I think it's important sometimes to remember that you're never stuck. You're never stuck. Just get yourself in a position where your mind buys into certain ideas and then you feel stuck. An example would be he could live out on the streets. He's not technically stuck because he could do that. I'm not recommending it, though I am saying that there are always options. You asked, are there any ways he could make money that we could offer, that anybody could do or he could do? And I think there's a lot. It's a lot more than we imagine, because we often think of terms of our current world that we live in and going like, okay, how do I get a job? I have to go apply and someone will pay me. And yeah, that's usually a good route. But you even propose something that's not like that, right? You say I could draw something and you could sell it. If you do good enough marketing, maybe you'll get you'll get paid back for what you're putting in. That's great. I agree with Nyansa. I don't make money for him. That where he's at right now is where he needs to be to move forward, become the person he needs to become. And doing too much for him while helping is incredibly helpful and important to do. Doing a little too much might actually stunt the very thing his brain needs to, and why he's in this place why he's in this struggle in the first place. It might even just be an attitude shift. It might even be like a life lesson that's small. It might be a big one, but he's at where he's at, and what he needs he needs to overcome. So yeah, I think help is really great, but being someone that is a provider is not something you want to do for him. You don't want him to be reliant on you for him to make money, right? It's not. I don't think it's a good way forward. But anyhow, I've got a lot more to say on the topic, but I don't want to get carried on too much because I'm excited to see what Mayonglios has to say. So, Mayonglios, would you please?
Yes, to start with, thank you, Kendra, for the topic.
Mm-hmm.
My heart goes out to your friend.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that everything is able to work out well for him, and I'm sure eventually he will get through this hard time. But I don't really have like personal experience in what your friend is going through. I've I know some people who I think have had somewhat similar situations, so I might be able to talk on that. But either way, I'll give it my best. I agree with what Ryan was saying that some sort of change of scenery might be helpful because I don't know how long this has been going on for, but it seems like if the situation just stays the same, like staying at his mom's house, paying her rent, having that same job, if all of that is the same and there's nothing changing, then like it would probably be hard for things to change if all of those factors are staying the same. So I don't know how easy it would be to do this, but it would probably be helpful for him if possible, to find a better job, which you said that he's having trouble finding one. But if he can get a better job, that would probably be good. Or if I don't know how much his mom's charging for rent, but if he could get an apartment or something that the rent costs about the same or even a little bit less. I don't know the exact money factors there. Like, I don't know what the whole situation between him and his mom is, but it might be helpful mentally for him to get out of that, not be trapped in that situation, have his own space. And I've never bought an apartment myself, so I don't know if there's a upfront fee, but if the rent of an apartment is equal to the rent his mom was charging him, then that could be a way to move over. Oh, I see in chat you said out to he would have moved out to love with his aunt, but she lives in Tennessee now and he lives in Michigan. Oh, I
Mm.
see what you're saying. He would have loved to move in with his aunt, but she lives far away. His dad isn't the best, and his mom has basically been emotionally guilt tripping him into staying. Oh, I see. Um, I haven't, like I said, I haven't really experienced this myself, but someone I know, I think, could probably relate to this more than me. So I might talk on what I know about their situation. But it honestly might be the best for both him and his mom for him to get away, because if she's succeeding in getting him to stay by doing this unhealthy behavior, then she's probably gonna keep doing it, and it might take him moving out, not cutting ties with his family at all, definitely not that, visiting and stuff, but it might take him getting his own space for his mom to kind of realize what she was doing, and then it would help him have space to breathe and grow as himself. Um, that's what I have to start with, if all that makes sense. And I'll leave it to you to talk for a bit, Ryan.
No, I think that's really great. Um, Absolutely. And some really great things are being said in the chat too. You're spot on. If you're in that position with your mom and your mom is like that, yeah, you're letting her get a. It's not. It's like you're helping her train herself how to be a terrible person, right? And so, And it's not that she's a terrible person. I don't mean it in like the most offensive way possible, but what she's doing isn't good or healthy for him. And therefore it's also not good or healthy for herself. And so she is unfortunately now in a habit or kind of stuck in a position where she has found control over this young man's life and is pursuing that control in ways that she's getting rewarded on. And that's not healthy for her or for him. So and it doesn't necessarily mean that she's a narcissist or anything like that. She might have some behaviors that might be narcissistic, but it doesn't mean that she is, right? I wouldn't by any chance put her in a category. I don't even know her, but if there is behavior like this, it's not healthy no matter who you are. And so I think, yeah, Myangos, you're spot on. I think it's important for them to get away. Now, he feels stuck. He needs to remember that he's not stuck. So, I think he should go out to his aunt. Yansai, that's right, $200. Okay, let's say he doesn't have $200. This is crazy, but okay. Let's say if he doesn't want to go to his aunt's, but he wants to go to, let's say instead he wants to rent out a place near him, away from his mom, who's sort of drowning him, right? Go to the bank. Schedule an appointment at the bank. That he probably he has a bank account because he probably has a bank account. He's getting paid with a job. They generally almost all require that now. So you have a bank account. Go to your bank. Pull out a small loan that will be whatever the first down payment on a building that you can rent or an apartment that you can rent. And they'll loan it to you. And then you'll pay it back after a couple of months, and because you'll be making your money back because it won't be going all to your mom. And I know that getting a loan might be a weird thing you've never done before and it's kind of scary, but that option's there. That's a real option. And it's a real option millions of people have already taken billions of times in total, right? Loans happen. They're just a normal thing. You can go to the bank and say, look, I got a paying job. I'm just asking for enough money for the upfront cost of rent or to rent this apartment. Maybe the first month as well. And then my job will be paying me. I'm not losing it. I've got a job. And, it's not a big paying job, but it's enough that I can cover this rent, cover food costs, and pay you back. And then eventually you pay your loan back. And it'll take however long it takes. It might take a couple months, might take a year, take 2 years. Whatever it is, doesn't really matter. If he's out on his own, away from unhealthy behavior, he is going to have a happier life. And he's going to feel like he has more opportunity to perform at work and to find other jobs. He's going to feel like he has some control over his life again, and that means he can control his life again to some degree. We can never fully control our lives. We can't fully control our brains. We can't fully control anything, but we can at least feel like we can take opportunities more and then do them because they're opportunities. The opportunities are always there. We just don't see them. And so, and that's the blatant reality. The opportunities are always there. We just don't see them. Like, you can't see what you can't see, obviously. It's like you don't know 2 doors down the street there's a dude who's offering up a job. Technically, the opportunity's there, but you would have to ask him to find out. But let's say he doesn't want to go that route. And go to his aunt's. Just drop everything and go. Leave behind what you got to leave behind. If it means leaving behind your rust bucket and your job, just leave it behind. Start anew. Start a new adventure. Start from that point. You've already got your wits about you. You've already got everything you get to take with you in your mind, all of your knowledge that you've gained over the many years. You've got a person that's built up that's a good person. Start fresh with that slate somewhere else. If that means your aunt down in Tennessee, like Yansai had said, it's not that far. Maybe you could hike there. Maybe you could hitchhike there. or maybe he can, take a plane. If his car's not trustworthy enough to make it that far, then it is what it is. But get there. If his car can only make it a quarter of the way and it breaks down and he has to ditch it, sometimes you just do that. Sometimes you do that, and then you pick it up later, and when you have a solid footing, solid foundation. That's okay. Life, here's the thing about life. It wasn't meant, like, we weren't put on Earth for security. It's not meant to be secure. You have your securities which are locking you into place because you think that you're secure right now when you're not, right? I think that's something that we all need to remember from time. Where you are right now, you've got a job, you've got a car, and you've got a house. And so you're like, okay, I've got security here. I've got a roof over my head. I've got a way to get to work. I've got a job that will pay me money. But are you really secure? I think, no. What's the highest state of security? Jail. They literally call it, what's the word? Maximum security. Right? What are you in jail? Like, you're not free. And it's secure things can buy you freedom, but they don't always do that. And if you chase after security, security will be your master, and you will feel stuck in a cycle where you just, one thing relies on another thing, relies on another thing. In order to have a roof over your head, you had to have a job. In order to have a job, like, you have to have your vehicle and be able to get there. In order to have a vehicle, you have to have, well, the job, and you also have to have a roof over your house or your head. It's like, and all this, it becomes a cycle and it locks you in place. And that's normal, I think, because we all get there at different points of our life, and we'll always find ourselves back there. And then there are times where we go, this cycle that I've built is not where I want to stay. I want a better cycle. I want a different lifestyle. It's going to be another cycle of it's probably going to become another cycle of dependencies, but it'll be something better than what you've got right now. So, Kendra, I would maybe recommend them to just kind of watch this little part of Don't Worry Wednesday. And hopefully it can be helpful to them. But I really hope that they can understand that they're not stuck. They really aren't. Just get up and go. You can just set a date and say, yeah, you go to your job, you don't tell your parents, you don't tell anybody, you just go to your job and you say, hey, I'm putting in my 2 weeks. They'll freak out, whatever. But your life is important, and it's important to have a good life because you've got one. And the one you have right now, you're subjecting it to things you don't even want to subject it to. So you've got a chance here. You've got an opportunity right now. Get up and go. You have an aunt. That's something. That's great. That's an opportunity right there. You want to find ways to make money? There's so many good ways. So many good ways. Then you put your mind to it. Let me, like, my wife is really good at finding them, and my brother's wife is also really good at finding jobs. You can go to what do you call that? Craigslist and find jobs there, which is interesting. And keep your eye out online for things. But even probably better than that, maybe you live in a town. In that town is probably a rich neighborhood. Or if you go to Tennessee, in that town is probably a rich neighborhood. Not even joking, go to the rich neighborhood. They have money there, right? They're rich, right? That's the idea anyways. They might actually be $1 million in debt, but they have a really nice house. Doesn't really matter. They probably have a job, so that they have some kind of high stakes in. Go to a rich neighborhood. Knock on their doors and offer up yourself and say, like, I'd be willing to, hey, I don't have a job. I just moved here and I'm looking for ways to make money. Do you have any suggestions? I came here because looks like you make money, and that's what I want to do. And if you just like that, you just knock on people's, I know that's really high anxiety, but listen, you have to go through and you have to take action in the unknown to discover what you don't yet have. And right now, you don't have a lot. There's a lot that you don't have that you want. And you have to go into the places you don't have, don't know things, don't control things, you know, to open up all those opportunities that will let you have what you don't currently have, what you don't currently control, what you don't currently own, right? And so you kind of have to get outside your comfort zone, embrace the awkward, embrace the difficulty, and just go for it. And right now, one of the main reasons you're struggling with anxiety is because of the place you're living. If your life is being controlled by someone, they put a high emphasis on control. And in your life, you're the one without it. So you have a high emphasis on control. You're subjected to, you're subjected to the mentality of control over your life is important, and it's like the main thing, and it's why we do things, because we can have control. And you believe that because it's all around you and it's what everybody says, and you buy into it, and you have that belief that like controlling your life and controlling the world around you is like good. Okay. And so then the next thing is you realize you have no control. You have no control over your finances, feels like. You have no control over your car breaking down. That's crazy anxiety right there. You have no control like over your household. You have no you control and own nothing, basically. And that position absolutely generate high anxiety. And I'm not saying that's all there is to it. I'm saying that that's probably just a small part of it. There's probably a lot more going on there too. But a lot of it comes from your environment. So really, I think the best thing you could possibly do for yourself and for your mom and for your dad is to get out of there, because that's going to help them, like Cleo said, and it's going to help you. And it will put you in a place where suddenly you're free and you have complete control. And that might be a little overwhelming, but it'll be really cool. Because once you take action to free yourself, you're like, well, okay, well, I mean, how do I do it? I don't know what to do, but I can kind of do a lot of different things from here. And that could be a little scary, but it's kind of fun. Like a scary kind of fun. I don't know if you've ever had to just get up and leave. It could be emotional, but it can be amazing. It can be really liberating. And by liberating, I think that's a really good word. There's a word called liberality. Liberality. I would Google it. But liberality is a great word. It's like a virtue. And sort of it's kind of like the ability to be a slave to nothing. Sort of like that. To just be willing to just be liberated from anything that you could possibly be attached to for the pursuit of good instead. And that's an amazing like place to be and way to be. So if you could let go of some of the things you think you need to survive, which you don't need to survive, and let go some of the what do you call that? You know, I'm sure you don't want to hurt your parents. I'm sure you don't want to defy them or make them feel bad or whatever, right? And naturally. But at the same time, if you could let go of some of that when you know it's not in a healthy place anyways, might help, again, make it into something that is healthy later. Because right now, all of the habits that exist, not all of them, but a lot of them that exist in the household are bad and foul and you are contributing by allowing them to continue it. So if you get out of there, they at least can't continue it towards you, which should help them. Now, again, they're going to probably say everything to keep you there. Remember, that's the game they're playing. So, don't. Go. Let them be freed of you and let yourself be freed of them. And then join them later. They'll be way different people. Like, I've seen it so many times. People leave their parents. People leave a toxic relationship. Whatever it is. Come back like a month or several months, maybe a year later. And it's like, who are you? Why are you so nice? I don't remember you being this good before. Like, you're like a changed person. And really, they probably didn't change that much. It's just that a lot of those really, really horrible, bad habits of the way we were treating each other have gone. And we're not acting on that at the forefront every single sentence. So, yeah. Highly recommend. Anyways, that's what I've got. I know I've talked for a long time, and I apologize for keeping anyone here who needs to go. And Kendra, I hope this is helpful. But yeah, Neonglios, I'll give it back to you. And by the way, hi. Hello, Haley. Nice to see you.
I don't think I have anything else to add. I would, because I see here one of the things about the topic is that your friend was specifically asking, like, other ways they could make money besides the money they get from their job,
Mhm.
which Ryan touched on already. I would add to that, but at the moment, I can't think of some. I know there's definitely some out there, like, that could be found, like how Ryan said, even just going to, like, a rich neighborhood and seeing if there's, something they can pay you to do or
Mhm.
whatever. Um, but yeah, there's that. And everything Ryan was saying was really good. Um, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, it sounds like, I mean, if money is the main issue and they can somehow get another way to get money, that'd be good. But it sounds like a lot the issue is the situation of where they're at home. And
Mm.
it sounds like your friends already tried talking to their mom to, like, lower the rent so that they can get their own place, and their mom, like, refused basically. And, like, I doubt, if they've already tried multiple times asking, like, their mom's probably not going to change their opinion. And so,
Yeah.
you know, leaving to go to the aunt's house or something might be a good choice. Obviously, they should, like, take some time to really think about it, like, all the factors, and decide what would be the best course of action, because leaving might help their family too. So, like, that might be helpful, but
Mhm.
there's probably other factors that we don't even know about. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's right. I think that's right. Um, I think, yeah, they're stuck because they think they're stuck. But they're not. I think it's really great that they have opportunities out there. That they have their aunt that they can go to. They have a job right now shows that they have the opportunity to get another one. Right? The fact that you have a job right now shows that clearly you can have a job. You can get another one. If you go somewhere else, you have a job there. I know that sounds like, how can you just say it like it's nonchalant, like you just get one? Yeah, it can be hard sometimes, but you'll get one. You'll get there. You'll survive. And I think that's important. And I'm happy to hear, Kendra, that you said that we helped. I hopefully this will really help them. And yeah, I would personally be against necessarily giving them unless you're working out some kind of royalty system with them. I wouldn't give them your art to sell, because it won't make them feel like they solved the issue. is what they need. I think Neonsai said it really well. This is for them. This trial, this situation it needs to be solved and taken action by them. Sometimes they need a little encouragement. Sometimes they do need someone to say like, dude, you've said it enough that you want to go to your aunt's. We're going. No, don't drive out here. No, we're done with it. I'm driving out. I'm picking you up and we're going to your aunt's and you're going to have an awesome time. And they're like, great. Maybe you do need to do that. Maybe you need to push a little bit, right? Maybe you do. But don't do anything that makes them, I don't know, puts them in a position where they have another person or another thing that they're stuck doing or stuck in. What they need is to be freed from. So I would say more than finding a better job, they need to be able to give it up. And that's what their brain needs. That's where they need to go. You mentioned God and prayer. Remind them of the many times in the Bible where people just have to say, okay, I give up everything and follow you. I am willing to just, like, that happens so many times in the Old Testament as well as the New. Just so many people dropping everything. Abraham, Moses, etc. Jacob, and all of the prophets, Elijah, Elisha, all of them, Isaiah, Jonah, every one of them, right? So there's a lot of great examples out there of people in our history who have gained a lot from giving up everything. So, yeah, help them with a move. If you think that that's capable of something you could do one way or another, if you feel like you have to force them, find a way to force them, push it on them and be like, no, we're going, but one way or another, help them lose everything so they have everything in the world to gain. Because right now, they're stuck. They're stuck in a cycle. And you will always get stuck in one cycle or another, but it doesn't have to be the one he's in. Just needs to find a new one. So, yep, we've gone nearly 20 minutes over. So I think that's it for me. Anglios, any additional words on that, or?
I think that's all for me. There's
Yeah.
also some good stuff in the chat in here, which
Yeah,
I think we
Ecclesiastes.
mentioned some of it, but if there's anything we missed, it could be worth looking back in the chat also.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that's all we have for the topic. I hope everything works out and that your friend is able to make a change or figure out something to make it better. And Kendra, you're being a really good friend by
Mm-hmm.
doing your best to help them and caring enough to put a topic out here to see if you can help them figure this out. But my heart goes out to y'all, and hopefully you can get it figured out.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, Anglios, for saying that. Thank you, Kendra, for the topic. Yeah, bless you and your friend as well. Yes, Tara, absolutely. Ecclesiastes is a great read. All of that would be pertinent. But thank you, Mianglios, for filling in for us today, for coming and being willing to be on our show, and all your wisdom and advice that you had to offer and your own experiences as well. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm glad I could be helpful and,
Mm-hmm.
fill in for Joe.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe we'll have you on again very shortly here. I'm going to be gone for the next 3 weeks, guys. But Joe will be here, and we'll have other people. I'm sure he'll find someone to be in our place. So if you want to help out on the show, you could just do what my Anglios did, and that was just directly message us and say, "Hey, could I help?" And you certainly did. It was such a great thing having you here today. So But yeah,
Thank you.
you can. I would love to have you on the show again. And anybody else who might want to participate, feel free to just reach out to either Joe or myself, and if it's me, then I'll put you in contact with Joe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys again. This has been Don't Worry Wednesday, and we could always use more topics. So if you have anything in your mind, or if this discussions we've spoken of today have brought anything up that remind you of certain topics that you want to dig into, please submit a topic to don'tworrywednesday.com. It's literally the name of our show, don'tworrywednesday.com, and we would be happy to get to it. Yes, thank you. Perfect, Sawale. Sawale, you're lovely and amazing, and you're the best, and thank you everyone who has given us a topic to do today, because that really saved us, and you really pulled through, guys. So
And thank you, chat, for being so active and having such wonderful
yeah,
things to say. And
yes,
anyone who's lurking and just watching and not saying anything in the chat, thanks for watching, even if
mm-hmm.
you aren't saying anything.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly right. Thank you. All right, well, that's our show. We did it, guys. Yay!
Yup, it's been good.
Yeah, thanks again, my young Leos. You're so great. Yes, another great Don't Worry
Thank you.
Wednesday. Awesome. Okay, well, bye, guys. Hope you have a lovely rest of your week. I love you all, and we will see you next Wednesday.
Yep.
Thumbs up.
See y'all next week.
Lovely. Okay.